On everybody, it's Key Time coming back with another one to talk about the NBA. The NBA in-season tournament has kicked off, and there are a lot of teams that are eyeing for the in-season tournament trophy. But the first team I want to talk about today is the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies, which they are the worst team in the NBA. No surprise by that. We all know that John Morant is serving a 25 game suspension. But are the Memphis Grizzlies even going to improve with him coming back? And I mean substantial improvement. I mean going on a winning streak, because right now, if they keep losing at the pace that they are losing at, if they keep losing at this rate, by the All-Star game, they will be out of playoff contention. But I don't think that they are making the playoffs anyway. And with Ja Morant being suspended for the stuff he did last season, coming into this season, I said it's really going to hurt them in order to win games. And in the last few games of the season, it's going to really hurt them then trying to fight for a playoff spot because of this 25 season, 25 games 25 game suspension that he is serving this early in the season. So that's all I got for the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the fight that we all seen last night between the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Golden State Warriors. Now, I think that Klay Thompson, he should have not been ejected from that game. Draymond Green, he was wrong for what he was doing because he was choking Rudy Gobert, and that situation wasn't even involving him, and he just gonna come and choke Rudy Gobert. Not saying that Rudy Gobert didn't do anything wrong, because he did, but Draymond Green, he took it over the top like he has always done. Most of his when he gets suspended, it's something that Draymond Green did to take it over the top, and that has caused the NBA to give him that necessary suspension. Now, what he did last night, that was necessary for a suspension, and they just suspended him for 10 games. It should have been more. I don't understand why it couldn't have been more, because Draymond Green has had a history of doing this. The two players that this situation was involving was Rudy Gobert and Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson should have stayed in the game. Rudy Gobert should have been ejected for starting the foolishness in the first place. But he wasn't ejected, and that is why I believe that's why the Warriors went on to lose this game. Draymond Green, he's suspension prone. He's always getting suspended for some reason. Hey, but the Warriors, they are willing to put up with that. If it was me, I would have got rid of Draymond Green a long time ago. Not saying that he not talented. He don't have talented basketball skills, because he still has talent basketball skills. It's just all of these suspensions he done had over the years, and it has contributed into some Warriors losses. I don't even need to go down a list, because we all know what type of losses I'm talking about. The next team I want to talk about is the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets, one of the best teams in the NBA, championship team, came off a championship last season. I think that the road to the NBA Finals through the Western Conference goes through Mile High. I believe that because the Denver Nuggets, their bench is great, averaging 45 points a game. Nikola Jokic is great. Jamal Murray is great. Aaron Gordon is great. And all of their contributors on the bench are great. They are averaging at least 15 points per game, if not more. Now, some nights they may have somebody come off the bench and put up 25, 30 points. That's a plus. But as far as a complete team, the Denver Nuggets, they are a complete team, which leads into my next team, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, they are trying to get acquainted with everybody on the floor still early in the season. Anthony Davis, he is playing at a consistent level. Well, he has been injured for the last 3-4 games. But before those injuries, he was averaging 25 points per game. That's what the Lakers need out of him night after night after night. If they don't get 25 points out of him night after night, they are going to lose, because LeBron, he can't shoulder the load throughout the entirety of the season. And another thing, I want to give credit where credit is due, because last night the Lakers bench balled out. The Lakers need to work on their defense, because it was a lot of defensive lapses from the start of the game to the end of the game. But they was able to albeit keep the lead versus albeit the Memphis Grizzlies. So this win was against a team you were supposed to beat. Now you're on a 3-game winning streak. Can you keep this up consistently? Anthony Davis, we know you're a great player. Show us you're a great player by putting up 25, 30 points a night. We already know what LeBron is going to do. LeBron is going to put up his average. We need you to put up your average. If all of the Lakers players put up their average, especially Anthony Davis, they can contend with the Denver Nuggets for the Western Conference Finals in May. But it remains to be seen. It's still a long season. We are only 12 games into the season. It's still a long season. So for the Lakers, sky's the limit. The next team I want to talk about is the Golden State Warriors. Now the Golden State Warriors, they are 6-6. The one consistent player that Golden State has had is Steph Curry. Now, the most points by a Warriors player this season has been Steph Curry. And I'm going to give y'all a list of how many times Steph Curry has been on this list. The most points by Warriors players this year. Steph Curry, 35 points. Steph Curry, 32 points. Steph Curry, 33 points. Steph Curry, 27 points. Steph Curry, 26 points. Steph Curry, 28 points. Steph Curry, 27 points. Steph Curry, 33 points. It has been nothing but Steph Curry putting up 30-plus points a game. Klay Thompson, where are you at? Klay Thompson, he has gone cold. He's only been averaging 18, 19 points per game. Klay Thompson, the Warriors, they need you, because Steph Curry cannot shoulder the load. Draymond Green, I already said earlier in this video how he has been over the last few years. He's only been averaging 8, 9 points per game with about 4 or 5 assists. He is a person that can only get you a few rebounds, because he's not as dominant as he once was. Draymond Green is not as dominant as he once was. Klay Thompson, he has went on a cold streak. He doesn't hit his shots like he used to. That's why I think Golden State, if they don't have more bench production from their bench, more points from their bench players, I believe that Golden State, they can get knocked out of the first round, because from what I'm looking at, Golden State is just a one-man show. I mean, only person that's on Golden State that gives people fear is Steph Curry, and that is all. That's all I have on the Warriors. They are 6-6 right now, currently 8th in the Western Conference, but we only 12 games into the season. I expect them to be in the top 4 or 5 by season's end. This is only the first 12 games of the season. So Golden State, they have time to improve, and I expect them to improve. The next team I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Clippers. Los Angeles Clippers, they are 3-7. I don't see them making the playoffs. It's conflict in the Clippers locker room right now because you have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. I had said James Harden is a bench player. James Harden, he need to come off the bench because you cannot have those 5 guys in the starting lineup and on the floor at the same time, because it's just gonna be them trading passes and trading shots with each other. So what the Clippers need to do, they need to come up with a lineup. Because I know that Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they are not going to come off the bench. But in this situation and in this system, you're going to have to make them come off the bench, Tyloo. You're going to have to make them come off the bench because your 2 starters are already in the starting lineup in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And with all of them being on the floor, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, you only have Z-Box out there, and Z-Box, he is not your usual big out there because he can score too, but you have so many scores out there and not enough defense, and that is why you are having trouble on the defensive side of the ball. The Clippers are having trouble on the defensive side of the ball because they don't have enough defenders out there that can play defense. You know James Harden ain't gonna play no defense. You only got him for offense. Russell Westbrook, hey, he may give you about 2-3 blocks a game, but that may be every once in a while. With Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you know that they can score, but can they defend? Paul George, he done lost a couple steps. Kawhi Leonard, he done lost a couple steps. Man, it's trouble. It's trouble. It is trouble in Clipper land right now, and with this team, and there's no excuse, because you have 4 legit all-star scorers and players, and since James Harden has came to the Clippers, you haven't won a game. It's something that goes on in the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter that has the Clippers losing all of these close games. They just lost a close game last night to the Denver Nuggets. I mean, we know that it's gonna take a while for all the players to get acquainted, but you are 0-5 since James Harden has came along. There's not too many more places that James Harden can go after this. I'm just saying, after the Clippers, who is going to give him a contract after the Clippers? I believe that he need for him to stay there, he is going to have to come off the bench. I know that James Harden, he is not going to like it, but for the betterment of the team and to where they want to get to, because the Clippers are a championship team. They haven't been looking like it for the last 3-4 games, but they are a championship team. a championship contender rather. I just don't see this type of team and lineup staying together for a long period of time. The Clippers, they are gonna have to make a trade because this will almost be like what the Lakers experienced with Russell Westbrook, trying to see what lineup he can come into. He don't like coming up. Russell Westbrook don't like coming off the bench. James Harden don't like coming off the bench. I don't know because he came off the bench in Philadelphia. James Harden, he ain't like coming off the bench in Philadelphia. He expected to be a starter coming to the Clippers, but he ain't gonna be no starter because what's a good lineup for the Clippers is Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Reggie Jackson, Terran Mann, and Z-Box at the 5. You are gonna have to have Westbrook and James Harden come off the bench. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. The next team I want to talk about is the Phoenix Suns because Phoenix Suns, they bench. I don't see no point production from their bench. That is exactly why I said you trading for all of these superstars and these all-time scorers like Bradley Beal. Where is it going to help the bench out at? Bradley Beal may have to start coming off the bench. The Phoenix Suns, they are 4-6 after 10 games. So the Phoenix Suns, they are gonna have to start making some trades and improving that bench because they have one of the worst benches in the NBA. I mean, even the New Orleans Pelicans are doing better than them in bench production. And the New Orleans Pelicans have a better record than them. We expected Phoenix and Denver to be right up there. We expected the Lakers to be right up there with Phoenix and Denver coming into the season. Now, hey, like I said, we only 11, 12 games into the season, but I want to see how teams will fare against how the Phoenix Suns bench will fare against teams after the All-Star break. We will know what type of teams who are playing for a playoff spot and fighting for a playoff spot. We will see what type of teams and what type of contenders who will be fighting for a playoff spot after the All-Star break, which is in February. Now, the last team I want to talk about is the last two teams I want to talk about is the Philadelphia 76ers and Boston Celtics. Now, these two teams, I believe that this is a Eastern Conference Finals preview, and they even play tonight, Wednesday night. So I expect Boston to win tonight's game, and I expect Boston and Philadelphia to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston, they have a much more deeper team than Philadelphia because Philadelphia, they just lost James Harden. They still have Joel Embiid. They just promoted Tyrese Maxey to the second lineup. He is a good point guard. He is averaging 18 points per game. But when it comes to Philadelphia, what are you going to do in the playoffs? And also with Boston, what are you going to do in the playoffs? We know that you can get to the Eastern Conference Finals in the Celtics case. We know that you can get to the NBA Finals. You was at the NBA Finals just a couple years ago. For Philadelphia, we know that you can make it deep into the playoffs, but can you make it to the finals? It remains to be seen. And with the Milwaukee Bucks, it also remains to be seen. Now, Damian Lillard, he has been doing great. He the system that the Milwaukee Bucks have, it is great for Damian Lillard. You could just plug him right on into the system. He is vibing well with Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez, and all of the players that are coming off the bench. The Bucks, hey, they are 6-4 after 10 games. This is still early in the season. Let's not overreact to the first 10 or 12 games. That's why I say let's start analyzing these teams after the All-Star break or even before the All-Star break, because we will know what type of teams that are in the playoffs or fighting for a playoff spot after the All-Star break. And with that, that is my reaction video, and that is my NBA talk video for this week. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and remember, the key is always on time.